I planned a special trip for my parents and me. I saved every penny for 2 long years. I booked flights, nice hotels, and guided tours. I even made dinner reservations. I wanted a perfect week in Europe. I hoped we would share great memories together. On the morning of the trip, I drove my parents to the airport. I pulled up and opened the door. My mother and father stepped out with their suitcases. I smiled and wished them a good trip. Then something strange happened. My mother stopped and looked at me. "Lily," she said in a cheerful tone, "we decided to take Emma with us instead." I froze. I looked at my parents with wide eyes. My heart pounded. "Emma?" I repeated, trying to understand. My father nodded slowly. "Emma has been very stressed lately," he said softly. "We thought she needs this break more than you do." I felt my stomach twist. I had planned this trip for us. I had worked so hard. I was the one who had organized everything. Yet, here I was, being left out. I stepped back and helped with the luggage. My hands shook. I did not ask any questions. I just nodded and forced a smile. My parents chatted lightly with Emma, who stood by the car. Emma had her own small suitcase. She looked calm, almost too calm. Her smile was small, and it did not match her eyes. Inside the car, the silence was heavy. I stared at the clock on my dashboard. It was a few minutes past our planned time. I tried to be polite, but anger slowly bubbled inside me. I had given up so much for this trip, and now I felt small and ignored. The drive to the airport was quiet. Emma talked about Paris and the best places to eat. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. Every word from her felt like a jab. My parents laughed and agreed with her. I felt more alone with every mile. When we reached the airport drop-off, my father said, "Thank you for driving us, Lily." His voice was low. I nodded and stepped out. I watched as my parents walked towards the terminal with Emma. Their steps were light, full of excitement. I stood by my car, feeling hurt and empty. I helped unload the luggage and then went back to my car. I sat inside and closed the door slowly. I could not believe what had happened. The trip was no longer for me. It was now for Emma. I tried to shake off the anger, but it grew stronger with each passing moment. I made a decision then. I took out my phone and logged into my travel booking accounts. I went to each website one by one. I canceled the hotel reservations. I canceled the tour bookings. I even canceled the flight upgrade I had paid for. I did this quietly and carefully. I could not let them enjoy the trip I had planned with so much love and hard work. I felt a mix of anger and relief. I was hurt and sad, but I was also free. Free from the feeling of always being pushed aside. I had given my all for this family trip, and now I was taking back my power. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. I saw a message from my mother. "Lily, what have you done?" it read. My heart sank. I looked at more messages. They were from my mother and father, and even one from Emma. Their words were a mix of anger and confusion. My mother wrote, "The hotel will not check us in. Call us right now." Emma left a voicemail. "This is so unfair, Lily. I did not mean for this to happen." And my father's message was short and heavy. "We need to talk." I sat in my car for a long time. I felt the tears come. I was angry and hurt. For years, I had always been the one who fixed things. I was the one who kept our plans perfect. Now, I was tired. I did not want to be the fixer anymore. I took a deep breath and finally answered my phone. My mother's voice came in quickly, filled with worry and anger. "Lily, why did you cancel everything? This was meant for all of us," she pleaded. tried to speak calmly. I planned this trip for me, for you, and for Emma. I saved for it, and I am hurt that you chose her over me. Her voice faltered for a moment, then she said, "But she is so stressed. You always work so hard. You deserve a break too, Lily." I shook my head. "No, this is not a break for me. I worked for this trip. It was supposed to be our time together." There was silence on the line. Then Emma's voice broke through the background noise. "Lily, please, don't do this," she said softly. Her tone was different now, less confident and more guilty. I closed my eyes and listened. I did not want to hurt my family, but I could not stand being ignored anymore. I ended the call with a sigh. I turned off my phone and sat back. I felt a strange peace. I had finally stood up for myself. It was not easy. My heart was still sore. But I knew I had to live my life on my own terms. Later that day, I went home and sat in my small room. I made a cup of tea. I sat on my bed and thought of all the years I had spent trying to please everyone. I remembered all the times I had put my plans on hold for my family. I had never felt important. Now I had a chance to feel free. I opened my laptop again. This time I did not look at the canceled emails. Instead, I searched for my own trip. I wanted to plan a journey for just me. I thought about Italy, Spain, or even a small town in France. I wanted to find a place where I could feel alive again. I booked a small trip for myself. I chose a quiet town in Italy. It was not as fancy as the trip I had planned, but it was mine. I planned to explore the old streets, try local food, and even learn a few words in Italian. I felt excited about this new beginning. In the days that followed, my phone was silent. My parents called and texted many times asking me to come back to fix things. But I did not answer. I wanted to enjoy my own space and my own thoughts. I spent my time reading, writing in my journal, and taking long walks. I even went to a small art class near my home. I felt like I was discovering parts of me that had long been hidden. A week after my trip was canceled, my parents finally came to my house. They looked tired and sad. My mother's eyes were wet as she said, "Lily, we are sorry. We did not see how much you had to give. We thought we were doing the right thing by taking Emma." I listened quietly. My heart felt heavy. I did not want to cry, but the years of feeling left out were too deep. I said, "I planned that trip with my heart. I saved for it. I wanted us to be together. I was hurt when you chose Emma over me." My father lowered his head. "We did not mean to hurt you," he said softly. Emma looked away, quiet and unsure. I took a deep breath and added, "I love you all, but I need to feel seen too. I want to travel for myself sometimes, to do things on my own. I am not here just to fix everything." There was a long silence. My mother reached out and touched my hand. "We understand, Lily," she whispered. "We will try to do better." Over the next few weeks, things slowly changed. I stayed true to my plans. I went on my solo trip to Italy. I wandered the narrow streets with a small map in my hand. I sat in little cafes and wrote in my journal. I learned some Italian words from kind locals. I even took a cooking class where I learned to make pasta. Each day I felt more confident and alive. The change was not sudden. At first, I still felt sad about how my family had treated me, but with every step I took on my own, I grew stronger. I stopped worrying about their opinions. I began to enjoy my own company. I realized that my life was mine to live, not just a series of plans to please others. When I returned home, I felt like a new person. I still loved my family, but I knew that I had to set my own path. I began to say no when I felt pressured to fix their problems. I started to make decisions. That brought me joy. I enrolled in a local photography course and even joined a small hiking group. I learned that the world was full of beauty and that I deserved to see it on my own terms. One evening, I sat on my back porch with a warm cup of tea. I looked at the sunset and thought about all the hurt and anger I had felt. I thought about the long nights I had spent planning the perfect trip, only to have it taken away. But I also thought about the new freedom I had gained. I was free to choose my own adventures. I was free to value myself. My phone buzzed. It was a message from my mother. "Lily, we miss you. Please call us." I hesitated. I thought about all the calls I had missed, all the times I had said nothing. I knew that talking to them again would not erase the past, but it might be a step forward. I answered the call later that night. My mother's voice was soft and unsure. "Lily, we know we hurt you. We want to do better. Please tell us what you need." I took a deep breath. "I need space and honesty. I need you to see me as important. I need you to let me be me." There was silence. Then my mother said, "We will try. We love you, Lily. Please know that you are important." I said, "I love you too, but I must live for myself now." The conversation was hard, but it felt right. The days that followed were gentle. I set firm boundaries. I took time to write my own goals in my journal. I planned another trip, a small journey to explore more of Europe on my own. This time, it was just for me. I was not doing it to fix a broken plan or to earn anyone's approval. I was doing it because I deserved to feel free. Looking back, I see that the trip that was taken away was a blessing in disguise. It taught me that my dreams and plans are my own. I learned that I do not have to live only to serve others' expectations. I learned that I am enough just as I am. Now, when I walk through a busy street in a new city, I smile. I know that I made a choice for myself. I know that my voice matters. And I know that even when others hurt me, I can rise above it. I can choose my own path and travel it with my heart wide open. I still talk to my family. Sometimes we argue. But now I do not let their choices take away my light. I have learned to stand up for myself. I am no longer the fixer. I am my own traveler, with my own plans. And that is enough for me. This is my story. It is not perfect. It is simple. It is real. I chose to live my life on my own terms. I hope you too can find the strength to do the same. After that call, I felt a mix of relief and hope. I began to see that my life was not tied to my past. I started to plan small moments just for me. I looked forward to quiet mornings and long walks. I took my camera and explored my town. Every photo was a step toward a new life. I soon met new friends at a local travel club. They shared simple dreams of faraway places. We talked about our favorite foods and the best parks to visit. Their stories inspired me to dream even bigger. I listened carefully, feeling that I had found people who understood my need for freedom. Also joined a language group at the community center. We learned new words and practiced simple phrases. I found joy in speaking slowly and clearly. Each lesson was a reminder that I was building a future that was mine alone. I even started writing short stories about my travels, each word a small victory. One crisp morning, I took a train to a small town by a clear lake. The sky was blue and the air was fresh. I sat on a bench and watched ducks glide across the water. I felt calm and happy, like I had finally found my place. In that moment, I realized that my journey was not just about travel, it was about finding peace inside myself. At night, I wrote in my journal by a small lamp. I recorded my thoughts and dreams with simple words. I wrote about the beauty of each sunrise and the lessons from every conversation. I felt that each day was a chance to honor my own wishes. I was no longer chasing approval. I was chasing joy. I kept my phone off sometimes to enjoy the silence. I found that I could listen to my heart. In that silence, I heard my true voice. It told me that I deserved happiness and that my choices mattered. I was learning to trust myself. Slowly, my family began to notice the change in me. They saw that I smiled more and argued less. Sometimes my parents called and asked about my new adventures. I answered with calm words. I told them of my train ride, the friends I made, and the small town by the lake. I hoped they could see that I was happy on my own, though we still had hard days and long talks. I knew my path was clear. I was not the fixer or the doormat anymore. I was a traveler with a story of my own. My journey was now about freedom and self-love. I chose to live by my own heart and celebrate each simple moment. This is my new chapter. It is still a work in progress, but each day is a step toward a brighter future. I hope my story reminds you that you too can choose your own path. You deserve to feel free and truly happy.